I'm not tight. I'm talking like I normally would.
No, you're talking like you would in a business meeting.
No, I'm not, Sage. This is our
God.
first one. Let's just get through it. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
This is an adventure. This is not some scripted, oh, we're just so good at this immediately. Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh my God.
wives, mothers, take a seat. Get comfortable. Dads, husbands, don't take your shoes off because you never know what's going to happen when wife gives you lemons. All right. Well, should we introduce ourselves? It's our first show.
Of course, of course. I want to go ahead and apologize for the sound situation. I had another microphone. Anyways, this is Scarlett, the most important one that matters, because today we're talking about her birth. Speaking to the mic. Gotta speak in the mic.
Like we said, this is Sage. I'm Travis. We are a wife and husband duo. I am the chef, and she's the homemaker. I sell software and do silly things like fantasy football.
Full-time mother, part-time content creator.
There we go.
YouTuber.
Okay. Well, and on today's show, we're talking a little bit about, something pretty personal, which was how our daughter Scarlett was born, and also, how
Don't
quickly,
be nervous. You're
how-
so nervous. God,
how
take a
quickly
sip.
things can change.
Take a sip. Ready?
I talk
We're gonna
fast.
take this moment to
Just
chug it.
chug the whole glass.
Mhm.
Okay. We're good.
I'm just gonna give a little backstory to my pregnancy as a whole, and then kind of like what happened, what I remember the birth being like, and then what Travis remembers the birth being like. Okay. Remember. We got married September 2023. And then we were like, oh, we are going to take our sweet time. We're going to have a baby a year from now. And then, everything should be great. Well, 4 months later, I was pregnant. I was literally on my way to an interview in Dallas for American Airlines to be a flight attendant. I got that job, mind you. But then I found out shortly afterwards, I was pregnant with that little girl over there.
I feel like I remember finding out about how you were pregnant a little bit differently.
Oh.
Yeah, weren't you out with the girls? Wasn't there a whole weekend?
So Scarlett knows the taste of tequila because I found out about her when she was 6 or 7 weeks. We weren't trying to have a baby, but we also weren't not trying to have a baby. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, if you're smelling what I'm stepping in, because
we definitely were not playing it safe. Fellas, you know what I mean.
I was out in Nashville with my bestie, and we were out on a girls' night, and everybody was being so friendly, so extra friendly. They were buying me drinks and then walking away, and I was like, oh my gosh, like everyone in Nashville's so sweet. Like, what's going on? And then after a night out, I was like, oh my God, I feel a little hungover. Like, it's probably nothing. And then we went out again that night. Same thing happened. All of the males, and I had my wedding ring on, mind you, all of the males were being so friendly. Oh my gosh, you're so cool. I'm like, I know, right? Thanks. My husband thinks so too. It's like, yeah, that's awesome. Anyways, I woke up the next morning. We were out at a Mexican restaurant, and I was like, I do not feel good. Like, I'm going to take a pregnancy test when I get home. Not now, because like there's no way I'm pregnant, but that's how it was. Anyways, found out I was pregnant, and let me tell you, I'm a healthy person. I just lost 30 pounds. And then every single time I would go to the doctor, they're like, your blood pressure is beautiful, which I thought was a very strange compliment. But I'm like, okay, like I have beautiful blood pressure. Okay, cool. And then the week before she came, which was at 34-1, so she was about 7 weeks early, they're like, your blood pressure is really high. Like, what's going on? Mind you, I was eating a lot of pizza. I worked at an Italian restaurant at the time, and I was like, okay, maybe I should like watch my diet or whatever, especially as a Black woman. You know how gestational diabetes and hypertension and all that jazz be getting us. But I passed my diabetes test. So anyways, we were watching Wicked. I'll let Travis.
Humble brag, passing tests. Uh, yeah. I mean that all matches up. I was starting to get really worried about her. Her feet were swelling. We had lowered the sodium. We had tried a couple of different things. We were both fairly healthy uh, individuals, but I had changed jobs. We were stressed about money and timing and doing all sorts of stuff. So
Insurance? Oh my God.
yes, get insurance. Even if it feels like you're paying way too much for insurance, I'll tell you about the bills here in a minute. Her best friend came down from Tennessee, and this was to visit. We were supposed to do a maternity shoot. We were supposed to go out and, check out farmers market stuff and thrift and do all these things that every, couple wants to do.
Had a dinner reservation?
Totally did not go to the dinner reservation. But we went and saw, unfortunately, the the remake of the movie Wicked starring Ariana Grande. Thank God for alcohol because I got blitzed during that movie. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It was a lot of drinking. Me and her friend were doing it.
I hate you.
She was our DD. Real boss move. She was taking care of us. Nobody was belligerent, but it was a good time. So just let her crawl around. So we get home, and during the movie, Sage feels this like really strong urge, this really deep kick.
I'm going to interject here. As I was watching this movie, mind you, I'm sitting here in this movie theater. It's dark. Travis is talking and complaining the entire time about how he does not like this movie.
It was awful.
Just let me go. Let me go. He does not like this movie. And I'm like, okay, like, I don't know why you wanted to come because I asked you, hey, baby, Aiden wants to go see Wicked. Do you want to come with us? Like, I didn't expect him to actually come, but I thought I would invite him because he's my bestie. And, you invite your significant others to hang out. So we're in this movie theater. Aiden is to my left. She is having a blast. She is singing along. She's like, this is so good. Travis is to my right. He is miserable. And mind you, I am sober. These two are intoxicated. It's all fun. It's a whole thing. And while this movie is going on, I felt what I can only describe to you as a bubble. It felt like, ladies, you're going to understand what I'm about to say. When it's about to be that time of the month, and then you have that previous period where it's like, the fluid and that sort of thing. I thought, oh, like, what's that? It just kind of felt like that. And then I lean over. I lean over. I lean over to Travis and I'm like, wouldn't it be so crazy if my water broke right now? And he looked at me like I had just killed his dog. He looked at me like, baby, don't even play that game. Like, that's not funny. I'm like, I know, Travis, I'm just kidding. But in the back of my mind, I thought that was a weird sensation. Okay. Then we leave the movie, whatever. We go home. We go to bed. The next morning is supposed to be our maternity shoot. And Travis is asleep. He's had a good amount of alcohol, so he's out. I wake up at around 2:15 a.m. and it's as though I have peed myself. I was like, oh my God, did I just pee my pants? Like, this is so embarrassing. What has happened? So I get up and I'm texting Katie, my other best friend. I think I just peed myself. And she said, you should probably call your doctor. So I call the OBGYN and they're like, what happened? I think I peed myself. Like, I don't know. So where was I? She's like, call your OBGYN. So I call my OBGYN and they're like, okay, if that happens again, go to the hospital. I said, okay, cool. I hang up the phone. And as soon as I hang up the phone, I kid you not, it was as though the floodgates opened up. It was as though the Hoover Dam ruptured, okay? That was the waters breaking. People are like, oh, how do you know when your water breaks? You know. Trust me, this is my first baby. You know when your water breaks. So as soon as that happens, I call the doctor. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty positive my water broke and I'm 34 and 1. They're like, okay, go to the ER. So I wake up, I wake him from his sleep. And again, it's 2:30 in the morning. He is a little intoxicated. And he's like, "Okay, okay." And he falls back asleep. He falls back asleep. And I was like, "Oh my God, no, Travis, we have to go to the hospital." So I wake him up and we get on the road. And mind you, the week before this happened, that whole week, I was nesting. I was in nesting mode. I had cleaned all of her clothes. I had the crib ready. Like I had the basics ready. I had the bassinet. I was ready. Okay. And I packed my go bag. I packed my go bag that week. I'm like, I'm packing it so early, but whatever. And on TikTok, they were like, "Moms, make sure you're packing your bag." And I was like, I don't need to do that. But I did that. And so, yeah, we get in the car. These streets are empty because it's 2:30 in the morning. And what normally was a 20-minute drive ended up being about a 12-minute drive. And we're getting there. I don't think we're playing any music. It's just he and I'm kind of freaking out. And I'm looking at him like, "Oh my God, like, how are you?" And from what I remember, we get there, he drops me off up front, and I'm like, "Oh, I called earlier, like, they know I'm here." So they take me back there. It's me and Travis in this room. This nurse is checking us out, and then this male doctor comes in. I was like, "Oh God, I have a male doctor." And I was like, "I think my water broke, but can you just give me some medicine to, like, stop this pregnancy?" Like, I thought that was a thing. I heard if your water breaks, that doesn't necessarily mean you're about to go into labor. But I did have 2 contractions this whole time, and it was similar to a period cramp. Like, that's the pain I can describe it as, is a period cramp. But yeah. Other than that, it's all kind of a blur from there. This man, they're running tests. They are telling me to go clean up and change in the bathroom and whatnot. They're telling me to check for, this is going to be graphic, but it's birth. Okay. They're telling me to check for blood in like my fluids and whatnot. And there was. And the man is like, "Hi, I'm Dr. So and so. I'm here to check you out." And I'm like awkward and uncomfortable. I'm like, "Whoa, doc, like buy me a drink first." He's like, "Honey, I've given birth, or like I've birthed hundreds of babies. Like you're fine." I'm like, "I know, but I'm a little uncomfortable, so I want you to be uncomfortable too. Like we're all gonna laugh here, okay?" Yeah, and then I think Travis, come back. From here on out, I am not a reliable narrator because I think they gave me morphine or fentanyl or something. Mind you, I was a very granola lady during my whole pregnancy. I was like, "I'm not eating this, I'm not eating that. Like, I'm gonna be so healthy." And I wanted a natural birth. I wanted to give birth in a tub. I chose this hospital because they had a beautiful facility, beautiful tub where I could labor in the tub. But obviously, I wouldn't be getting that birth. I would be ending it with a C-section.
Contractions and pains, and obviously she's going into labor, and we get into the emergency OBGYN. Well, we go in, first thing they do, check her oxygen, her blood pressure, and then she gets checked out by a doc, and they check to see how dilated she is, which I don't remember the exact number that she was dilated at, but she hadn't dilated very far at that point. However, her blood pressure was really driving the emergency meter way higher. So they move us into a more comfortable room after having a couple of different tests done. And then I am approached by whom is either the head nurse or the doctor in charge at that time. And they have a team of nurses. I'm talking about 8 or 9 nurses are in this room. The nurse who had admitted us comes in, and she's a traveling nurse, and she was just a real badass. She's really cool. She comes into play later. She's very important. And so the doctor comes in and looks at me, and she goes, "So your birthing plan, it's you wanted natural birth, right?" I was like, and Sage had been particular about how she was to be treated in the hospital, and in terms of how, as her husband, how I was supposed to defend her views, i.e., if they really pushed on her to have medications, pain medications. She wanted a natural birth. She didn't want to do that. So she was like, "Don't let me be a pushover. Don't let them push me over. Don't let them bully us. We have made these decisions. This is what we're sticking to." So keep that in mind. So the doctor is like, "Well, listen, her blood pressure is so high. She is in 90+% chance that in the next half hour to an hour, if we go with the natural birth plan, that she will either have a massive stroke or a massive seizure, both of which would harm both her and the baby. So they were like, you can go with a natural birth plan, or we're going to have to do an emergency C-section. But the likelihood of serious damage and or death happening is very high if we don't do something in the next 5 minutes. So I've just woke up. I'm hungover. We're in a state of emergency. And now I've just been told that my wife and child could possibly die due to her blood pressure, which we also never found out why it spiked so high to begin with. So, unfortunately for us, unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, I chose the C section. I told Sage what was happening in that moment, which was a bit of a blur. They had her prepped and moved her to a surgery room. The nurses were talking about her doctor nonstop, rock star of a doctor. So we'll fast forward, walking through the halls and getting ready and everything. But I'm getting my scrubs on. I'm lightheaded. I'm nervous. My baby's being born 6 or 7 weeks early, so I want to throw up. My wife's having major surgery. Definitely want to throw up. My wife might have a stroke. I'm swimming in my own head at this moment. But so I put all the scrubs and stuff on, walk into the room, and what I walk into was something I wasn't expecting, which was at first I hear Queen playing. It was either We Will Rock You or We Are the Champions at a low volume, but loud enough to where you can hear it. And Sage has been prepped and numbed, and they've started the cutting process. And sitting there holding her hand, telling her how great she's doing. And the song Purple Rain by Prince comes on. I don't know if you're Prince fans. I'm a huge Prince fan. This family is a huge Prince fan. But Purple Rain starts playing. And then miraculously, my baby is born at 5:55 a.m. to Purple Rain by Prince. Prince said during the Super Bowl, "Can you make it rain harder?" For those of you who get that reference, please go look it up. Prince's Super Bowl, amazing little blurb. Check it out. But the baby is born, and I go out with her. They weigh her. She cries for a little bit, but she's not a super vocal baby. But she's also really early. Go back in there. Sage gets to meet her. I'm holding her. Really heartwarming moment that we get to feel together. And then the doctor's like, the baby's out. Do you want something? Make you feel better? Sage is like, oh. So they give her morphine. They give her a strong dose of morphine through something. And it takes a minute or two to kick in. She immediately feels some relief, but the real effects start kicking in about 3 or 4 minutes later. So they're wheeling her out. And as they're wheeling her out, the nurse is talking to her, and she's like, "This is not how I wanted it to go. I was going to make you nurses gift bags." And the nurses just broke out laughing. It was so sweet. It was so genuine. Sage didn't even know where she was at that moment. She was in another atmosphere, just in a different world. And little did we know that the actual C-section wasn't going to be the hardest part of the next 17 hours.
Well done, baby. Well done retelling leading up to the events. Real quick, huge shout out to my anesthesiologist. It was this guy. I don't remember his name, but while the tornado of the surgery that was going on, I noticed they were about to give me some medicine to lower my blood pressure, but the anesthesiologist was in there. He's like, "Hey, don't give her too much. I'm about to do a spinal tap of morphine that's already going to lower her blood pressure, so we don't want her heart to stop or anything like that." And I was like, "I see you. You know what you're doing." I really appreciated that. Number one. Number two, my surgeon was such a superstar. He was so confident. He was just so easy. They were like, "Oh, it's 4 a.m., but we're waiting on Dr. Shashadri. He's on his way in. We're waiting on the surgeon to get there." And I am in this very white, clean, it's a surgery room, but not like you'd see on Grey's Anatomy. After the baby has been born to Purple Rain, I am sitting there, and it's a C-section. They have me cut open and whatnot, and I can feel them putting everything back together. And I am uncomfortable at this point. I have just met the baby. She's beautiful. I've cried, like what I was waiting for. Couldn't feel anything, but I could feel them pulling on me, tugging on me. It felt like an old woman was reaching in a big tote bag to like out gum at the bottom. The nurse noticed my discomfort. She's like, "Do you want to take a nap?" I'm like, "God, yes. Knock me out. Give me all the drugs." She's out of me. Apparently, they give me this awesome medicine. I'm about to fall asleep or whatever. I'm like, "I wanted to give you guys a bag. Like, this is not how I wanted it to go." And that would only be the beginning of my struggles. I didn't know Going in there, I knew she was about to be born, but I didn't know that it was about to be one of the worst days of my life. The baby's born at 5:55 on November 22nd, 22555. Thought that was really sweet. I wake up and I'm in a room. Travis, I think, is not there. I think it's just me by myself. And my brother walks in, and
There's a reason for that. The reason why she is by herself is because Sage said, and I quote, "Follow that baby everywhere. Don't let her out of your sight."
I do remember Travis asking me if I wanted him to go with the baby to do skin to skin. I'm like, go with her. Don't let her out of your sight, that sort of thing. So I wake up. I am bedridden. I'm in this bed. I can't move because my blood pressure was so high. They put me on magnesium, and a magnesium drip feels like death.